All right, Brennan Taylor here, True School Sports. I'm with the one and only, listen, a longtime friend in boxing and outside of boxing, and also back on the rise, back in the win column, back moving up the ladder slowly but surely and steadily. A lot of you guys may not know him, but soon you will. My main man, 50 grand, Marcos Pops. What's good, Marcos?
My boy BT, guys, often imitated, never duplicated, the one and only, down to the body like John Gotti. My boy, Brandon Taylor, True School Sports. Pleasure to be here, my bro.
Pleasure to have you, man. It's been a long time since I mean, I talk to you all the time, but I haven't formally had you on the channel since 2021. That was like when you were sparring Gamboa, getting ready for your pro debut. We was in the house with our good buddy Johnny, and you were getting the cupping every day. But a lot's happened since then. So I kind of wanted to get that out there. You know, your journey, your story, and not just your journey and story where it's at now, but where it's going. So Marcos, I know you had in 2021 you had two fights. I was there, in the camp for the first one, your pro debut. I helped you get ready for your pro debut. But then after that, you had a long time out the ring. Was it almost 3 years? 3 years, right? 3 years out the ring.
Shit. Yeah, I think it was 3 years, 2.5 years, but I think it was three to be honest, bro.
Yeah, yeah, basically 3 years out the ring. And so like I guess the first thing will be Marcos, like, because a lot of boxing fans they may be like, well, why? How can a guy say he's a fighter, right? But he's not fighting. Why don't he just fight? How what contributed to the layoff, and then what kind of mental hurdles did you have to overcome in those 3 years?
Yeah, no, I think for the people on the outside looking in, like the general public, bro, I think that, they just think it's like, oh, I want to fight, right? I want to fight on the network, and I'm gonna get the fight immediately just because I want to, and it doesn't work like that. It's a multitude of things coming together, and well, to make it short and sweet, man, there was things out of my control. A lot of stuff, boxing and life in itself isn't fair, and then just fights also later down the line like started falling out. I would get ready for a fight, they would fall out, and it's part of the business, right? Um, Mind you, I was in Vegas for my first two pro fights.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up bouncing around, and God's plans are perfect. So I ended up coming back to New York, and that's where I'm training right now as we speak. But yeah, man, a lot of mental hurdles, like in the sense of staying motivated. It's easy to stay motivated when you have an objective to run towards, to work towards. But when you're waking up every day and you're training like you have a fight, you're watching your weight, you're probably losing out on financial opportunities because all your time is dedicated to training, and you're like, oh yeah, I'll have a fight in 8 weeks. It falls out, another 8 weeks, another 8 weeks, that turns into a year, and that turns into 2 years, and then that turns into 3 years, bro. Like, I honestly think the only reason I'm saying is because of God, but any other person would go crazy or they'd quit.
Well, I've seen it throughout the years. I mean, I've seen fighters like I've seen fighters just leave the sport and get regular jobs. I've seen fighters get into drugs. I've seen all kinds of results of like similar situations that you went through in boxing. So the fact that you're still boxing, it goes to show you that if you really want something, you can make it happen. And since then, you came back in December of last year, got a win. You just fought recently, so two wins in about five months or so, and looks like you're on a better path now.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. And it's just like you said, right? Like people go crazy because as fighters, especially when we've been doing this for a long time, it's so ingrained in you, man, that it's almost hard to accept that you're not gonna do it again, right? Or that the road's ended, so to speak. And for me, it was like, yo, I'm waking up every day, and it's like, am I gonna get a fight eventually, bro? Like, doesn't matter how much hunger you have, how much discipline you have, you get tired. And I was this close to throwing in the towel, man. And it just happens to be, as you know, BT, like I'm a man of many hats, right? Many hats. And I work as a media reporter. I'm not as good as you, man, but
Thank you.
I'm trying to get up there. I work doing the cuts, the hand wraps.
Yeah.
What else? Shit. Lately, I've been on my matchmaking flow. So I was going to work a show, and it just happened to be at that show I ran into the promoter, and I told the promoter I was a fighter and I was doing all this stuff. He didn't believe me at first, and then he looked at my track record, he looked at my Instagram, and a lot of mutual people that we met, And hey, one thing led to the other, and me going to work that show ended up giving me the opportunity to be able to fight on his card. And I ended up selling out the venue, just being a 4 round fighter.
Wow. So when you say sell the venue, like, what's the number of tickets you sold?
For 4 rounds, I think I sold was it 10,000 or $11,000 in tickets, somewhere
Wow,
around there.
$10,000 in tickets.
Yeah, yeah, it was
So
for a 4 rounder.
for a guy who's 4-0, who doesn't have like the biggest,
Three
profile,
and 0, 3-0 at the time.
you're 3-0 at the time. Even better, like you only 3-0. You ain't fought in 3 years. And there's value in Marco's pause. So promoters out there, you come across it. I know people watch these videos sometimes. So 10,000. There's guys with 20 fights that can't sell 10,000 tickets though.
ten
$10,000.
thousand dollars in tickets, I think. Yeah, it was like 10,000 or 11,000, somewhere around there.
Yeah, not that's good, man. I mean, that's a great sign. That what that shows me is that with the right development and if you're pushed properly, 10,000 could be 50,000 soon. It could be 100,000 soon on a bigger stage on a bigger platform.
Right, right.
So yeah. I mean, looking at your box record, for being honest, on paper, right? So people that are going to watch this interview, they're going to look at your box record, Marcos, and going to say, everyone Marcos fought does not yet have a win on the record. He ain't fighting nobody, BT.
Right.
You're just interviewing him because he's your friend, right? They're going to be saying all that stuff, right?
Right.
So like the part of boxing that I want get people to understand, Marcos, is that if you don't have a promoter, right, or a big time manager bankrolling you money, right, paying for big time opponents, how hard is it to actually get quality opponents in the ring so that you can take the right fights at the right time to develop properly? How hard is that?
Oh, it's hard, man. It's hard because at the end of the day, and excuse my French, money talks and bullshit walks, right?
Mhm.
So it's like, as for me, and I'm not gonna hide it because a lot of people don't like to touch this subject. It's like, as a fighter, you can't pad your record up, but you also can't feed the fighter to the lines. You gotta have that keen eye to be able to know when to step it up, when to maybe lower the level of opposition that you're fighting. And as for me, I've never asked for a dude with 0 wins and whatever amount of losses. It's like I've actually asked for dudes to have wins. Nothing crazy either, because I know everything. Uh, there's a time and place for everything, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it just happens to be, bro. It's like sometimes I've been asking for a guy that's like a 2-3 guy, right? Or a 3 and something guy, and then I'll end up getting a guy that's 0 and something.
Oh, 6-1, like.
Now I will say this though, records are very deceiving,
Mhm.
super deceiving, because a lot of these guys, even though I know it's not boxing, but a lot of these guys have an ex MMA history. Like, for example, I think it was like the guy previous to this one that I just fought.
Mhm.
He was an MMA fighter, and there's been cases of dudes that have like 0-2 record that end up knocking a stellar amateur out, bro. It's like we've seen that shit happen countless times. So you can never really count anybody out. But yeah, man, it's hard, bro. It's hard. Unless you got somebody uh seen in
Bankroll.
that green.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Okay, okay, okay. So I guess the next question would be, Marcos, is like, if you're in that position, if you're in that position of like being a fighter that doesn't have the big manager or the big time promoter yet, how do you get to that next level in boxing? What do you think? What's how does Marcos Paz go from fighting at the Melrose Ballroom, with all due respect, to fighting on like the bigger shows, like the top ranked shows, or like the Zone or ESPN and those kind of things?
I think more than anything, and though ability is important, and I do believe I have the ability, it's showing that you can put asses in seats, right? And if me having a limited amount of time to sell tickets, and mind you, I do everything. I literally do everything from the back end work, making sure I deliver the tickets, making sure I keep count. I do everything. I literally do everything. And I can sell that amount of tickets. It's like, and I have the backing of a lot of people, or like a lot of notable people. Maybe not economically, but like people in government in my town and things like
Yeah.
that. It's like, bro, like just give me the opportunity to fight on a top rank or on a PBC card. I guarantee you, it'll be double. It'll be double. So it's the marketability aspect, and I know I have it. It's just a matter of somebody taking that chance with me.
Well, that's one thing I try to tell, like, the young amateur fighters, or like even the young pros, when I meet them. I'm like, guys, boxing in the professional ranks is not it's not the amateurs. It's a business. So yeah, you may be a good fighter, a really good fighter. You may be the truth. You may be a world class fighter, but you may get shortchanged opportunities if you don't do the legwork on, yourself from the promotional standpoint, the commercial part of yourself. You know, you always want to be in a power position commercially because then you'll get more opportunities as a fighter as opposed to like if you're just a really good fighter but nobody knows who you are.
Right, yeah, no, absolutely. That's why it's professional boxing. It's called prize fighting, right? It's like at the end of the day, everybody's in it to make money. You think of promoters just because you're good and you can't sell any tickets, so you think he's gonna put you on a card. Perhaps he'll put somebody that has less talent, yeah, like less talent, but the guy's able to sell tickets. The guy's able to put money in their pocket. He's gonna put him in there.
Correct. Correct.
Common sense. Business is business. Like Michael Corleone from The Godfather said, it's not personal, strictly
That's
business.
business. Yeah, many people have told me that over the years. Um, what I know what kind of fighter you are, Marcus. But what kind of like, if you had to describe yourself, get someone excited about the Marcos Paz brand of boxing, how would you describe yourself?
Uh, Come forward, lots of pressure. Uh, Definitely. You could associate body punch with Marcos Paz. Like that's an unarguable trait of mine. Like I love to go down to the body, man. Pressure fighter.
Yeah, so action. You come to bring the action.
Action. I could box too. Don't get me wrong. It's like I got that East Coast slick style, but
That's like New York shit.
yeah, but I think that just because of my height, man, my physical attributes, I've been forced to learn to go forward.
Yeah, you're built like a fire hydrant. You're short, compact.
Short guy. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. So I know like you've been around a lot of top fighters. I know like I know one guy from New York that you got a relationship with is Edgar Berlanga. Um, how like what's your guys' like relation like how did you guys meet? Are you guys still cool to this day?
Yeah, yeah. So Edgar and I go way back, man. We go back from since we're in the Junior Olympics, for like 8 years old, man, somewhere around there. We would always see each other in the tournaments. We would share the dorms when we go to the tournaments, and to this day, man, it's like we're very good friends. Maybe I don't see him as often, or we don't stay in touch as much as often. But just like you, BC, it's like when we see each other, like it's like we never left.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know,
And I'm glad for the kid, man, because despite what everybody might say, and everybody's got their own opinion, they're entitled to it. It's like he got to where a lot of fighters don't get. Uh,
true.
Obviously, there's work to be done, just like there is for any of us. But he's got to where a lot of fighters don't get. So I'm proud of my boy.
Yeah, I mean, I covered the fight. I mean, in fact, like I got the credential right there. I covered
Oh shit!
when he fought Canelo, and obviously, he didn't come out victorious that night. He just didn't have the experience to do it with Canelo. But like I 20 it was 20,000 plus people in there. Like to fight on that level was it's different. So I mean, hey, he's a polarizing figure. I think overall Edgar is good for boxing. I think he's good for boxing. I don't agree with everything he says, but he makes it fun. He keeps things interesting. So
Right.
yeah, it's good to see like you had that association with him. I know also I met you back in 2021 when I was going to Vegas all the time when you were there with Angelo Leo, great fighter, world champion, top guy. What can you say about Angelo?
Oh, Angelo, man, a great person, man, a good friend of mine, a good friend of yours, and I just want to congratulate Angelo now that I have the opportunity to put it out on the internet, man, on winning his world title, second world title at that, man, and definitely a great person, great fighter, fan friendly for sure.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. What do you remember about those times like just training with a guy like not just him, but like just being in the Vegas gyms. I know you spar like you done rounds with Angelo. You sparred Gamboa. I know you spar like Kamal Mo. You spar all kinds of top pros. What do you remember about that whole time?
Vegas, man, definitely I would say is like the boxing capital of the world, right? It's like over there's not one place in a freaking 5 mile radius where you're not gonna bump into a boxing gym, right? And I'm not talking just like any regular boxing gym. I'm talking about like world champions left and right, Olympians. So it definitely, I'd say, it definitely brought out a different side of me in terms of having to step my game up. in all senses of the word, from the technique to the discipline to knowing that I'm no longer the big fish in the pond. I'm the little fish in the pond.
Correct.
But instead of intimidating me, man, I think it just brought out that drive that much more within me to want to pursue this harder and with more discipline, man. To know that there's no difference between me and all those great guys.
No, for sure, for sure. I know. Kind of going back to I kind of wanted to go back to the when you said you were this close to quitting boxing, right? I wanted to really press into that, Marcos. Was there a particular moment where you said, you know what, like I have my dream, I want my dream, but sometimes maybe my dream is not meant to work out. Maybe it's time to throw in the towel. Maybe it's time to hang it up. Was there a specific moment that you could pinpoint where you say, you know what, I can't take it no more?
There's man, bro. There was nah, man. There was like a lot of moments like that. I'd say like
Which
there
one
was
stick out? Which one stick out?
shit.
Is there one in particular that you want to
One
share? Because I'm trying to get people to understand. You know, the everyone sees the titles. They see, you know, the fights on TV. They see the Instagram followers. They see all the good stuff, but they don't hear about this ugly stuff we're talking about. So I'm trying to get to the ugly so they can appreciate the beautiful.
Yeah, no, now that you said it, now I think about it, literally the last conversation I had about quitting was with my dad. And I think it was like the following day or like three or a week after is when the opportunity came that I told you, right? And me and my dad were eating some greasy ass hamburger in a parking lot by my house. And so my dad was asking me like, "Yo, what's up, man? Like any news on the fight?" And I'm like, "Man, like no news." And then my dad was discouraged too because my dad put a lot of years into me. Like his whole life, literally, he's dedicated. It's been me and him going to the gym. And I told him like, "Yo, if I don't fight before the year ends, I'm gonna retire." I'm
Mm,
like, Unless there's a miracle that happens," I was like, "Cause I can't do this no more." It's like as much as I would want to, it's like age is catching up, you know. And you know it, BT. It's not a secret. Like fighters, you don't make no money until you're up at the big leagues.
correct.
And you know, there is a life after boxing, and if you don't jump on the bandwagon and have some sort of progress, bro, it's not looking good. You know, it'll screw the rest of your life up, your
Yeah,
regular life.
yeah. If you're in this sport, just like life, if you're not progressing, you're definitely regressing.
Oh hell yeah! So I remember it was that time, bro, and it's like my dad really got really down too, because he was like, "Yo, like my son worked so hard. I put so many years into him. And it's like, and we're doing all the right things." I'm like sometimes you feel like, why me, right? But it's like that's how you know God works in mysterious ways, because it's like, you know, I think I had to learn to let go of that dream to being okay. Like, you know what, maybe this isn't meant for me, right? But you
Yeah,
know what, I'm gonna persevere to the end regardless, and whatever happens happens. And I had to go through those 3 years, man, of really suffering, bro. And it just gave me that much more hunger and confidence in myself to develop who I am right now, bro. Like I told you, the man of many hats. You
correct.
go to a boxing event, you'll see me there. You'll see me with the big stars in the locker rooms. Um,
I
that's
would,
what drove me to that, bro.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, shit. You like you said, a man in many hats. You do more than me in boxing, man. You doing the matchmaking, cut, man. I always trip out when I see you doing the cuts. I'm like, this guy, he's really in them trenches. Like you really know.
Yo, has sports and entertainment, baby.
There you go.
XXBT management.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, it's a great thing to see, man. Because you know, a lot of people always tell me like with covering boxing for all these years on YouTube. You know, I go through a lot of things because you know, I've taken different routes. You know, I don't clickbait for views. You know, I do things. I try to be as honest and authentic as possible. And sometimes I'm like, man, I could be so much further ahead. You know, why me? Why? You know, a lot of the same thoughts. I told my dad a million times, yo, fuck this. I'm done. I can't cover boxing no more because boxing don't love me. So why should I love it back? You know, that type of thing.
Right.
So like, a lot of people tell me a lot of people will tell me that I inspire them for keeping going, but then like, I need someone to inspire me. So like, you're one of those guys for me.
Likewise, bro. Likewise, and we're on the same boat because I think my hat's off to anybody that really believes in themselves that much that they're willing to sacrifice everything and anything for a dream. You know, I think a lot of people say that we're crazy, but I think they're crazy for not having the courage to go after it, bro. So much respect to you, my boy.
That's it. And anybody who comes across this interview, you know, this is your sign to go after whatever it is you want out of life because you only get but so much time to do anything meaningful in the world. So make it count.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. As far as I know, also from New York, right? I wanted to ask you about I know you said that you grew up in the amateurs of Bruce Shoo Shoo Carrington.
Oh yeah, shoot.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what was that relationship like? You and Shoo Shoo?
Oh, Shushu always been a bad boy, man. That dude been nasty. That dude was very technical since he was really young, and to this day, man, Shushu's always carried himself, at least with me, with the utmost respect, dude. Every time I see him, the dude never forgets about me. It's like I feel like Shu's the type of fighter that even though he's going up, he's like what, like number? He's in the definitely in the top 10 in all the
He's the
organization.
if I'm not mistaken. I believe he's the number one WBO and number one WBC featherweight contender.
Right.
Number
So
four IBF.
all right, so he's world ranked, so he's basically there, right? He's ready to fight for a world title. But every time I see him, the dude's got his feet on the ground. Humble dude. That's my boy, man.
Definitely,
Happy for him.
definitely say one of the most gracious fighters I met. In boxing. If I meet him in Vegas, he's cool. If I meet him in upstate New York, he's cool. He's just the same every time we see
Yeah, and Shu's got he's got I say the it factor in the sense of like he's
marketability.
technical. Yeah, marketability, but he's technical. Like from a style standpoint, he's technical. But when he smells blood, he goes for the kill. He's not one of those, yo, let me just box around. Like, okay, he'll box, but the minute he senses he's got you,
That says
it's
curtains,
over.
curtains for you. Yeah, hopefully get you on one of his cards, man. I feel like you over here selling $10,000 of tickets. He does. I've been to shoo fights in New York. I know he does well. That top rank, that's good business. Just saying, just a true school advisory tip. Just put it out there.
True School Advisory, hashtag at top rank.
At top rank, yeah. Make it happen. But let me see, Marco. So like, okay, I know you mentioned your dad a lot, right? I had the pleasure to meet your dad one time. Um, tell the people about your dad, man. Like you said, he's put his whole life into you. Like when you say the whole life, like when did you first put them gloves on?
Yeah, like so, but like serious, I'd say like 5 years old.
Like five. That's still pretty young because I've seen pictures of you younger than five, but that's still young. Five
Yeah, like
gloves
five
on.
years old. And I don't like to like add extra fluff to stuff, bro. Like,
Yeah,
like just like you, bro. Like I like to be like straight up. It's like, but I'd say like yeah, like five. But then it started to get real serious around like 6 or 7. Cause I had my first fight at 8. Had my first fight at 8, and my dad, bro, was like, a lot of people think he was crazy, and I do think you got to be a little bit crazy to put your kids into this sport and to believe in something so much. Cause ever since then, bro, it's like we never stopped. It wasn't a thing of like, yo, let's box like for a couple months and take a break. It's like it's been an everyday thing for the past 20 years, bro.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I know you're real disciplined. You're very disciplined with like your food, and I've seen like the way you go about your nutrition in person. I feel like those are good habits, and they're gonna lead you far. Um, I know you can't. It's hard in boxing to look too far into the future. It's difficult. Especially when you're this early in your career. But you like look at the rankings sometimes, or look at the landscape of the lightweight division, and say to yourself, you know what, like not now, maybe like in a year or two, I want to fight that guy. Is there anybody like is on your radar? Don't
Like
gotta be a
a particular name?
yeah. Like, is there a particular name that you like a guy that you feel not, it don't gotta be a champion or a top contender, but is there just a guy out there you feel, you know what, that'd be a good fight for me?
Right. I mean, like to be quite honest, and this is not me giving the politically correct answer like I always tell you. Uh, I never really pay attention much to the names in the rankings, but I will say this though, it's like once I am close to that, uh, you know, let's say like close to being in the top 15, say I'm like 30 in the road or whatever, it's like I would love to mix it up with whoever's in the top 15, you know? It's
Okay,
like I don't have a particular name at that. It's just whoever's there, and whoever's there is like we gotta take care of business, right?
we gotta get to the smoke.
Right. There's no way around it. At that point, it's like
Yeah.
sometimes you don't get to pick and choose who you fight. You have to choose whoever's you have to fight whoever's in front of you to get to that belt.
Or,
So
or like, I've interviewed Abdullah Mason before, and he's got a quote where he says that boxing will dictate who we fight. Like
well,
based on who
Abdullah's a
wins,
smart guy.
based on who wins, that's who there's like there's not a ton of sense in talking about it too much. But based on who wins, that's who will fight. The talking is really just more for the marketing side of boxing, the media.
Right, as we know, because controversy sells, and people
Correct.
love a good this,
We
right?
know you are from New York, so I know I know right now you're doing the PC thing, but I know Marcos, if someone were to push the right buttons, you are from New York, and we know people from New York are very
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, man. But you know what? I'm gonna ask you the real now. I got some good questions in there, Marcos. But I'm gonna ask you a real question now. Oh,
Go
and you
ahead, BC.
gotta really answer this one honestly, Marcos, because this is a question I feel needs to be addressed. Because in boxing, there's a lot of things you got to overcome. You got to overcome, like just training every day. You got to overcome the business part of it. But in my experience, Marcos, the hardest thing for a fighter to overcome is las mujeres. The women. How do you as a very disciplined fighter deal with the temptations of women?
BT, tell me why I feel like a genie today because I knew that question was.
You knew it was coming.
Yo, what Mickey say from Rocky? He says women weaken legs.
Some people say that's a myth. Like Terrence Crawford said that was a myth, but
Oh man, it must be nice to be Terrence Crawford. Nah, man, I think just like with anything, bro, it's like, anything in excess is bad, right? So I would say that, whatever way it is that you encounter yourself with women, right? It's like you just have to be cautious about it. And I'd say it's okay to have a female friend. It's okay to have a girlfriend, as long as it doesn't steer you away from the main objective, which when boxing is your career, it's your career, right?
right,
You would want someone that helps you, that's an aid in you furthering your career as opposed to hindering you. So
right.
I'd just say just like being wise, man, being wise in who you're selective with, as for me though, man, like me, BT, I'm just a very nice person, bro. I'm very nice. Definitely if you got a good female following, it helps. and uh
You have
and
a good
that's it,
following?
man. I'd say so.
You think so? Okay.
I'd say so.
Well, there you go. There you go. So that you're on the right track. You know,
I think
look at Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia's pocketed like what 10, $20 million, and he ain't fought for a world title just because girls. I almost said be because women. You almost got the women love him. You know.
Yo, and if you women out there support me like the way that you guys say you do, make sure to follow my guy BT at True School Sports.
Yeah, please do, because we give it to you guys the real, the uncut, no filter here. But no, Marco. So I know one of the things you said is a dream of yours is I know you're from Long Island. You always said you wanted to fight the Nassau Coliseum.
Yeah, no, I've said that. I've said that in the past before. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. What yeah. How often do you think about that fighting at the Nassau Coliseum? Because I know like it's a historic venue in Long Island.
it is a historic venue. I will tell you this though, it's like ooh, I haven't thought about that in a long time, right? Just because I think they only had like two shows. They had like two PBC shows like many years back.
Hmm.
Even at one of those, I think you were there. I think it was like Keith Thurman fought there,
Yeah,
Sergey
yeah.
Lipin, and I actually live like right across the street from there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I always thought about. I'm like, yo, if I fight for the world title, I want to fight there. But who knows? Whenever it is that they bring boxing back there, man, I would love to do so. But if not, I'd love to win a world title at Madison Square Garden.
Ooh, of course, the
Yeah,
mecca of sports entertainment.
the Mecca, baby.
Yeah, man. And then I feel like just from following you throughout the years, and I know a lot about you. I feel like the route that it's more likely going to be it's going to be through the WBA. I know I know Gilberto Mendoza likes you, and you've gone to convention and whatnot. Well, you got the patch. There
I
you go.
got
See,
it somewhere in here,
got the receipts. There it is. There it is.
right there. And we got this one too.
Yeah. So the question I wanted to ask is like, how have there been any conversations from between you and Gilberto Mendoza and or anybody else that's part of the WBA about maybe you fighting for some sort a regional title of sorts in your next couple of fights?
Right. Yeah, no, we haven't had any like conversations of those sorts yet. You know, if they do pop up, I definitely be open to having a dialogue with them about it and seeing what pops up, right? You know, it's like we have to wait and see. The ball's really in their court at that point, you know.
Correct.
They're the sanctioning body. But fighting for like a Latin belt, like a Fed Latino belt or intercontinental belt would definitely be something that would be in my interest. I would love to do that sooner than later, to be honest, just because the clock is ticking. But at the right time, of course. But you know, definitely something to have in mind, and definitely would want to do that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that happening for you for sure. Um, Staying on the subject of the WBA, I know you went to the convention this year. Did you have any interesting experiences? Did you meet anybody? I know you met. I saw you met Ric Flair. That was pretty cool.
Woo!
Woo! But is there anybody that you met in boxing that maybe you learned something from while you were there?
Someone in boxing. I definitely, you know who I got to sit across from, which I never thought I would be able to do so.
Ooh,
I was sitting across, eating. I think I was eating like a burger, like a piece of steak, from Bernard Hopkins, actually.
ooh, okay, B Hop. Yeah, I love B Hop.
Yeah. So, you know, I was definitely just soaking up all the knowledge that he had, talking about discipline and, you know, B Hop didn't fight to the age that he was at just by coincidence. The guy was the disciple of discipline. So definitely from B Hop, who else? Jorge Linares. Trying to think who else. Yeah, I would say those two are like the ones that stood out the most for me, you know? Just
What
because
did
they were two guys that I grew up like really admiring.
what did Linares tell you? He's an interesting guy.
Oh, Linares, man, it's just and Linares more or less it wasn't that he told me anything. It was the fact that I grew up looking up to this guy, right? His story of how he left Venezuela, went to Japan,
Yeah,
and of
yeah.
course, Gilberto's father at the time, Gilberto Senior, he was the one that helped him uh, and guided him to be with taking promotions at the time and all that. And the thing is that when I went to the WBA convention, I ended up getting awarded something that kind of like blew my mind because I didn't.
Yeah.
Someone at 3-0 usually doesn't get that, you know.
There's a picture of you up there, like they got Clutch of Shields up there. They got like all these big names. They got like biggest names in boxing, and then there's good old Marcos Paz, just suited and booted.
And the crazy part is this is that like I said, I always looked up to Jorge since I was little, and when they called my name up, the guy that gave me the glove was Jorge.
Wow. So
Yeah, so that blew my mind, man. I was like,
full
oh
circle
shit.
comes full circle.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, Marcos. Well, look, man, it was great having you, man. I won't hold you much longer, but is there any like final message you want to drive home to the boxing world out there? Because I feel like you have a lot to give to the sport, lot, and you're selling 10,000 tickets. With only three, 4 fights. So, uh, yeah. Any final message?
Oh, just want to thank everybody that supported my journey. I want to thank you, BT. You know, you always been a dude that just hasn't said it, but you've shown it. You know, with actions, been there thick and thin. And I want to thank everybody that supported my journey. I want to thank the WBA, of course, Gilberto Mendoza Jr. And just everybody, man. Everybody that's played a vital role in my career. Any managers out there, and I'm talking about like top notch managers, this is your opportunity to sign a charismatic, fan friendly, explosive fighter. I promise you, you will not regret it. And aside from that, man, for you guys to just put your faith in God, your faith in Jesus Christ, and keep grinding away, man. And when something's for you, it doesn't matter who's against you.
Okay, Marcos Paz, a gentleman, a warrior, and a scholar. Thank you for talking to True School Sports.
My man, True School. We out, baby. Acts 2:30.